I wish every adult in the world could have a conversation with a 5-year-old kid for at least 30 minutes a day so they could finally learn how to dream and live their lives. Because every single day, when I hear people talking about their aspirations, they do it with such dullness, shame and embarrassment that actually those discussions could work better for insomnia than any sleeping pills. Every time a friend group discusses about dreams and aspirations, craziness gets criticized while limitations get sympathized with. Every time a kid breaks the traditional path of thinking in school, he gets told, "Don't do it. Listen to what we are saying because we know better." Every time a teenager wants to explore a career path that may not be traditionally viable, she gets hit with the "will that pay your bills" speech until she loses confidence in herself and only looks for the easy and predictable job and business. And every time I talk to someone in their 50s and 60s, they take a lot of pride in the fact that they took up responsibility and handled life very well. But in the back of their head is a question that keeps ringing like an alarm that doesn't stop. What if I had? And that had follows all the dreams they never dared to chase. The question that remains the biggest one is, would I have more satisfaction had I followed my heart and truly followed my dreams? As a result, we now live in a world of dichotomy where on one end, we have access to the greatest and most amazing stories of the biggest delusional thinkers who made it big, and yet we wonder if it even would be possible for us, because all around us in our life are examples of sacrifice for the sake of responsibility. And you know what the funny thing is? In a world full of motivational quotes where I'd say we have probably a bit too many of them, our everyday life is still surprisingly plagued by an anemic imagination that's struggling to survive the warring efforts of millions of reality mongers. We have started to learn in this cycle of being realistic that it's okay to give off your dreams. We have learned that in order to pay off the debts and the finances and the bills, it's okay to just do the work that's tiring and begrudging and not helping you at all. We've started to accept the fact that, you know what, this is what life is. You have no choice. Ultimately, you can dream as many fancy things as you want when you're a kid, but when life gets real, you have to show up and you just have to do what you have to do. And yes, I get that's an important part of life, but what it doesn't demand is that you kill the dreamer within you. That's why today I want to have this conversation where rather than learning to sacrifice your dreams while you handle the practical responsibilities of your life, not ignoring them, along with that, you can also ignite the dreamer within you rather than killing that person, rather than letting that person slowly die until the day you get to that freedom, the day you get to that money and you realize, I didn't even live for myself all along. You don't want to end up making that mistake, because if you do, the place you end up at is at 50 or 60 or 70 thinking about what if I had. So let's get that question out of your mind today by understanding exactly how you can stop sacrificing your dreams and actually start building the life you want. Here's what I truly believe about every single one of us. Imagination, creative thinking, dreaming big. These are inherent parts, not just of our personality, but of who we are as human beings. Think about it. Out of all the animals and species on the planet, we are the ones who've been gifted with this power of imagination, and that's not for any random use, right? It's there for a purpose. And yet, one of the biggest limiting beliefs and the biggest reasons I hear for why people quit following their dreams is, you know what? My life situations and challenges are such that I can't afford to dream big or think big. Really? Who is charging you a tax on your dreaming? Who is charging you a tax on your thinking big? If someone actually is, let me know in the comments so I can avoid that country, because I never want to be there. I don't want to live that life where my imagination itself is taken away from me, because that is the fundamental essence of being a human. But I do understand where this belief and reality comes from. After all, not everybody is born with a silver spoon. Not everybody has $1 million in their trust fund that they can use to backpack across Europe while they are trying to find themselves. That's not the reality for most of the world. For most of the world, for you and me, for a lot of other people, the everyday reality is worrying about challenges in finances, worrying about a job that might stay or might go, worrying about a business that's not taking off, and all these other real world implications of living our lives. And in that struggle, the biggest mistake we start making is we start believing, what's the point? Anyways, life is going to be a struggle. Why do I dream big? Why do I fantasize? Why do I think about crazy things? And we begin to justify our dreams, our logic, our visions of greatness and grandeur and impact and service as just childish visions we saw when we were kids and we were teenagers. But actually think about it. When were you more full of life? When did you have more power within you? Now? Or when you actually were seeing those dreams and when you were thinking about them? Because let me give you a simple example to help you understand what I mean by it. Let's put two people together, okay? Person A has built multiple successful businesses by the age of 30. She has a lot of money in her account. She's building a great life with her partner. She's now working on a few other business ideas and she's thinking about these grand dreams and grand visions and grand successes that she wants to have in the future. Now, at the same time, she meets someone else at an event who's also a 30-year-old person. She's also married. She also has a kid. And almost on paper, everything looks the same. The only difference is she is working 2 shifts a day. She's working 2 different jobs to keep the home going. She's barely making any income that can help her match the expenses as well. So she's not saving anything. She's living paycheck to paycheck. And put these two kind of people in a room together, how long do you really think the conversations could last, given the fact that they're from 2 very different backgrounds? Yes, maybe they could talk about motherhood, maybe they could talk about 1 or 2 challenges, but when you think about the grand vision of life, both of them are not going to be able to relate to each other, because here's what's going to happen. When person A talks about her grand visions and dreams and the next business she wants to build and the next thing she's revolutionizing with her new AI startup, person B is thinking, oh yeah, right. When you start living the real life, that's when you'll know. And she's judging her for having big dreams. Not because having big dreams is bad, but because she herself is feeling a bit insecure about the fact that someone else could do it and I couldn't. Now, when the other person, let's say person B, is talking about her struggles as a mother of working 2 jobs and managing everything and still making her kids smile, person A is also not able to relate to her because she's thinking and she's looking at her and she's believing, you are making so many excuses. Just believe in yourself. Just have that faith and see, you are going to have the bestest life ever. Now, both of them are in a position of judging each other. Person A is judging person B for her limited thinking, for her limiting beliefs, for her acceptance of a not so good reality, while person B is also judging person A for her crazy and limitless visions and for thinking too big about her life and for thinking that she doesn't know the real life. So if you think about it, what could have been a beautiful opportunity for person A to learn empathy and care and for person B to learn visioning and dreaming turned into instead a match of judgment instead, because that's what we do as adults. As adults, we've become so fixed in our ways that there's only one reality that exists, and that's the reality we know. And now I want you to imagine this. Let's say the kids of both of these women are 5 years old each, okay? And at the same event, somehow, these 2 kids also meet. Now, when these 2 kids are there, they're from completely different backgrounds, right? But how long do you think it will take for the 5-year-olds to get along together? Are they really caring about the social signals and the standing and the position and the kind of background the other 5-year-old kid is coming from, or what their mother is doing and what their mother is not doing, and all these kind of complicated questions that we adults get entangled in? No. Why? Because they don't even need the similarities. All they need is ability to dream, an ability to envision, an ability to create a random fantasy world together, and boom. Coming from completely different socioeconomic backgrounds, the 2 kids can connect, the 2 kids can feel, the 2 kids can form a wonderful bond. So my question is this. Is the kid who's coming from a multi-millionaire mother dreaming any different than the kid who's coming from a mother working 2 shifts? Is there any difference whatsoever? No, because if there was, would these two kids be able to relate to each other? Of course not. So what this simply proves to us is dreaming does not require reality to match up to it. Thinking big does not have a tax. What special tax is that 5-year-old kid coming from the poor background paying for envisioning and dreaming and playing and fantasizing with the kid coming from the rich background? None at all. And yet, our biggest excuse there is simply this idea that my reality is such I can't do anything. That's why I said every adult should spend at least 30 minutes a day with a kid or around a kid, and rather than judging the kids for their craziness, I'd say join them. Fantasize with them. Play their games. In their games, let's say, if you're talking to a 5-year-old kid and suddenly dinosaurs are flying, let the dinosaurs fly. If the kid is now telling you that now we have cars that can run on water, let the cars run on water. Rather than suppressing the kid's imagination, be with it, nurture it in him and nurture it in you. Because here's the truth. You need that. You need that vision to at least get started in a direction where you can believe more than what you know right now. You need that clarity, not of a plan, but at least of some crazy dreams that you can see that show you the current reality isn't what it always has to be like. Because here's my simple logic behind this conversation that I'm having here. I'm not saying responsibilities are not real. I'm not saying jobs are not real. I'm not saying the challenges are not real. All of it is. But so is your mind, right? So is your imagination. Rather than letting your reality define the boundaries of your imagination, let your imagination expand the boundaries of your reality. I'll repeat that sentence again. Rather than letting your reality define the boundaries of your imagination, let your imagination expand the boundaries of your reality. Now, how? Is there a plan? Of course not. But can we begin with a simple step of being like a 5-year-old kid again and actually dreaming? So here's what I want you to do. For today, put your limitations aside, put your finances aside, put your debts aside, put your career aside, put your home situation aside, put your health aside, put every single limitation or reality that you think of, put it aside and write a list of your dreams. Go all crazy. Maybe Elon Musk is trying to conquer Mars. You want to conquer Jupiter. Write it down. Will it happen? Maybe, maybe not. But you need to exercise the art of creating and nurturing an imagination. Because the more you can do that, the more you can see what doesn't yet exist, the more you can be a visionary, and the more you can create success in whatever field you choose as you grow through it. But if you don't practice that muscle today, tomorrow you're going to get, let's say, $1 million. What are you going to do with the $1 million if reality is all you know? If there is no vision to put those $1 million towards? So do this exercise. Be like a kid again. Or if you need some help, actually find who in your family is a young kid. Talk to them about their dreams, their fantasies. Let them go all crazy. Laugh with them. Go crazy with them. And let that be the spark for your imagination. Because here's the simple truth. If you can dream and envision, you can make it happen. But if you never dream and envision, there's no chance of it happening ever again. There's no possibility that you could do it if the thought doesn't even exist in your head. So acknowledge the reality, but don't let your reality be the limit of your life. Accept the fact that right now there may be some challenges because of which you need to do a job you don't love to do. But do it with love because you know the vision, the craziness, the grandeur that you are headed to. Be a bit crazy, be a bit illogical. Let yourself open up and loosen up. Create those crazy visions. I'm giving that to you as a task, okay? You have to do it. Write that down. Write all those dreams and share with me in the comments how expansive it feels to actually just get started on it, because the thought is the starting point. The thought is the seed. Plant it today, let time and effort and life nurture it, and it will sprout in time. My only question is, can you be logical and allow yourself to dream without letting the limits of the possibility of it happening get in the way? Just go out there and stop sacrificing. Nothing costs you more. You just need a pen and a paper. Everybody can afford it. There's no tax you're paying. So stop keeping yourself small. Stop living small. and just dream big. That itself is the very first step. And share with me in the comments how it feels to make it happen, because every time I do this exercise, I feel so amazing and I feel so driven to create the future that I want. Every time I up the numbers a bit, every time I increase the stakes, increase the challenges, and it gives me the drive to keep showing up every single day, to learn, to improve, and to serve as well, because now that serving has a mission. So in your life, your mission, your purpose, and the scale of it will come when you first allow yourself to dream big and be a bit crazy. If you've been waiting for permission, I am giving you the permission. You are allowed to do it. It's not a problem at all. Just make the list today and see how incredible you feel. I look forward to reading your comments. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you once again in the next video. Bye.